Well, thank you for inviting me. I wondered what to tell you some stories about. They're all Scottish tales, they're all historical or, come from this country in some way. And I thought, well, it's a curious time of year. Now, Andrew, when you wrote to me, said this is sort of a post-Christmas get-together.
Yeah.
So I guess you're sort of still in the vibe of Christmas with Hogmanay. And following that on, I thought, well, there's an interesting thing that happens around this time of year, where of course most of us try not to work for at least a week. And so I thought we'll make that one theme, sort of winter aspect. So we'll begin with perhaps the most important tale. This tale is about Cailleach, Beithir, so the old woman of the storms. Either way, she's considered to be the goddess of winter. And this obviously goes way, way back into it. And in the winter, the Cailleach, she is under Ben Nevis. It's her home. That's why it's such an important hill in Scottish understanding. Well, you might not remember that, but originally that's why it was, because the Cailleach lives under Ben Nevis. Bridget was, some say, the daughter of the Cailleach. And others say, no, she was just the slave of the Cailleach. Either way, it's probably the same thing, really, isn't it? If you've got a daughter, she's your slave for long enough. At least that's the idea. I'm sure I've learned that somewhere. And when the Cailleach has finished washing her blankets, she puts them out over the hills, and they are washed white, and they lie across the hills for the whole of the winter, to dry. One day the Cailleach said to Bridget, in her cave under the hill of Ben Nevis, she says, "Take this fleece and wash it." And she handed her a scratty old sheep's fleece that was mostly brown. And Bridget, the young, beautiful Bridget, went outside, and there was frost, and the burn was frozen, and there was snow on the hills. And she thought, how am I supposed to wash this? There's no water to wash it in, it's all solid. So she went down to the bun, and as she walked down to the bun, her footsteps left little melted patches. When she got to the bun, she thought, this is pointless, because it was just a series of sheets of ice, and she could maybe hear water under it, but there was no moving water. But she took the fleece and she put it down on the ice, and as she did, water began to form. The ice began to melt at that place. And she thought, oh great, we're on, we'll achieve this impossible task. So she starts to wash this dirty fleece, this sheep's fleece, in the water. And of course her hands are going first of all red, and then they went blue and raw, and she was washing away, and there was nothing coming out of the fleece. It was still completely filthy. And she knows that if she takes it back like that, she's going to get beaten by the Cailleach. So she's going away and bashing it on the rocks, and dipping away and bashing it on the rocks, and her hands are so cold, she's crying, and her tears cause the water to change from ice even more. After a while, somebody hears her crying. Now, the version I have of the story is that Old Man Winter hears her crying. I'm not sure about that. Anyway, an old man comes to her. He says, what are you doing? She says, I'm trying to wash the fleece. What for you doing that? Because the Cailleach has set me this task and I must wash the fleece. And she says, oh, that fleece will never get clean. Give it to me. And he picks it up and he dips it in the water and shakes it out, and it's pure white. Clean as the driven snow. And she says, oh, thank you very much. How can I ever thank you? Oh, just don't, no, not a problem, he says, not a problem. He says, you go back and take this to the Cailleach. She'll be surprised. Oh, I'm sure she will, I'm sure she will. And take her these, and he reaches behind his plaid and brings out a bunch of snowdrops. And he gives her a bunch of snowdrops. Well, thank you very much. Very nice, she says. He says, yeah, yes, when you give her the fleece, tell Cailleach that the snowdrops are out on the hill. So she goes back and she takes this lovely pure white fleece in his hand. She goes into the hill and she says, I've done the job, here's the fleece. And she goes, did you clean this? Yeah, she says. She doesn't look very pleased that the fleece is clean. She looks even less pleased when Bridget hands her the bunch of snowdrops. Where did you get those? Oh, I met an old man and he said to tell you the snowdrops are out on the hill. In a great fury, she grabs her mallet, her hammer, and she runs out to the hill and she sees, sure enough, that there's a path up from the burn where all the snow is melted, presumably the path that Bridget has just walked, and snowdrops have started to appear. She goes down and she smashes them all with her hammer. she's absolutely furious with Bridget. So when she comes back in again, she says, "That's it, you're never going out again." And she puts her in an even smaller cave at the back of the cave. And the only evidence that Bridget has ever existed is this wee path and the fact that some people can hear her crying under the hill. And there is a phrase in the Irish that as soon as the wind takes their words, they can be heard in the uttermost ends of the earth. And that's what happens with Bridget's sobs. The wind has caught them, and they travel a long distance, and it's the Cailleach's son who hears them. And I should explain him. His name is Angus Ock. Ever been to Ireland? Have you ever been to the place that they miscall, what do they call it now? Newgrange. It's the ancient Irish burial mound, and at a certain day, the winter solstice, lots of people gather there, and the sun shines down the passageway about 30-40 feet inside the hill and illuminates the chamber. You know the place I'm talking about? It's called Newgrange. Its proper name is Bruna Boyne, which means the mound on the River Boyne, and it's the home of Angus Ock. So if you ever go there, never mind all this nonsense about Newgrange, which is actually the name of a farmhouse that sits next to it, that was built in the 1600s. This has been there for thousands of years. It's the home of Angus Ock. And Angus Ock is known for two things. One, he's the god of love. And two, he's the sun god. So it is him who has heard Bridget's sobs. And he fancies that perhaps he'd seen by his mother's house a few days ago somebody washing in the bun a fleece. He thinks, did I see that? I think I did. And he thinks, she was lovely, pretty looking thing. So he borrows 3 days from August, and he scatters them before him, and he comes through the snows of winter, and he comes into the caves. And when the Cailleach is not watching, he takes out Bridget, and he takes her away through the snow. And when the Cailleach finds that Bridget has escaped, she's absolutely furious, so she borrows 3 days from January. And she goes out and she casts ice and snow all over the place. And she runs around with a mallet and there's flowers everywhere and she starts smashing them again. But for all the smashing away at the flowers and the casting the 3 days from January, she cannot stop things coming to life and green shoots coming up. And with a great high dudgeon of fury, she flings her mallet under the thorn tree. And there ends that story.